Now to Iran. A new enemy has been identified in Iran. Girls going to school. Girls receiving an education. Schoolgirls are being seen as a threat. And do you know what's being done to neutralize this threat? The girls are being poisoned. If you thought the crackdown on anti-hijab protesters was horrid, this is a new low. Girls going to school are being poisoned. By whom? Iran's regime won't identify them, but critics say it's a pretty easy guess. Our next report has more.
Qom is considered a holy city in Iran. Now, it's also known as a city where schoolgirls are being poisoned. Their crime, they go to school. Schoolgirls are being poisoned since November last year. Now the news is spreading. On February 14th, several parents whose children had been poisoned gathered outside the Qom city governorate. They wanted an explanation from authorities about why their daughters were repeatedly falling ill. On Sunday, Iran's regime finally decided to speak. Iran's deputy health minister said this. After the poisoning of several students in Qom schools, it was found that some people wanted all schools, especially girls' schools, to be closed. So some people, whom Iran's government won't name, are poisoning schoolgirls. And they're doing this to scare girls away from school, to make sure that schools for girls are closed down. And what is Iran's regime doing about it? Let alone punishing the culprits, it isn't even willing to name them. Since November last year, hundreds of girls have fallen ill. Some struggled to breathe, others required medical intervention. The students reported a strange smell before they fell ill. The events have alarmed parents. They are now too afraid to send their kids to school. Schools in Qom have reported a drop in the number of students coming for classes. Reports say some schools have been unofficially closed. One teacher said, of the 250 students in our school, only 50 attended classes. Schools are supposed to be safe spaces for children, not in Iran. Especially not if you're a girl. Iran's regime isn't willing to name those behind the poisoning of girls, but Iranian journalists and activists believe extremist groups who are fundamentally opposed to women being educated are responsible. Iran was one of the first countries in West Asia to allow women to obtain university-level education. But a lot has changed since. Today, women's education is seen as a threat to political power. 2005 was the year when young girls really started seeing the tide turn against them. This was when Mahmoud Ahmadinejad became president. Before he became president, women accounted for more applications to universities than men in Iran. But by the end of his tenure in 2013, gender segregation in schools became common practice. Women weren't allowed to study all the subjects. Now, President Ibrahim Raisi's tenure is proving to be worse. Since September last year, there have been widespread protests in Iran. What's remarkable is that they've been led by women. Iranian law mandates that women cover their heads with a headscarf or a hijab in public places. Those who don't fall prey to the country's morality police. Women are challenging this. The Islamic regime is cracking down hard. More than 500 people have been killed. The anti-hijab movement is Iran's longest-running protest after the Islamic Revolution of 1979. And going by how women continue to be treated in Iran, these protests won't die down anytime soon.